Kakegurui is the only anime where people are legitimately gambling with their lives on the line. And I don't mean that hypothetically, metaphorically, or conceptually. I'm talking about real gambling with their actual lives on the line. If these gooned out high schoolers got entered into the Jujutsu Kaisen Culling games, they'd all be Hikari level prospects within a matter of days. Anyways, we ended off the last season with Yumeko Jabami technically beating the student council president Kirari in a gambling match. She was doing a whole bunch of other weird stuff behind the scenes, but that brings us back up to speed. They start us off with another classic gambling session, and there is no way they can top the craziness of season 1.
The finger-cutting guillotine.
What type of jigsaw levels of nonsense even is this? Surely there is no way they actually accept these terms and conditions.
Delightful, can't wait!
Alright, bro, I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut going forward. I should have known better. Yumeko and Midori teaming up together? This is like when we saw Frieza and Goku teaming up in the Tournament of Power. The girl that looks like a character out of another is completely flabbergasted as to how they are not even a little bit scared. But she must have skipped out on watching my first video. Midori played Russian roulette with a real gun on her own, purely for the love of the game. Let the squabble commence. They start off by cutting the first few lines, but they are safe when Irimi reveals that she rigged the machine to stop right before it cuts anyone's finger, giving her the mental advantage. This means she just needs to keep playing and hope one of them pulls their finger out first. They continue cutting more rope, but that's when Yumeko starts moving like light Yagami and goes on a whole monologue explaining that she knew the machine was rigged and asked the supervisor to remove the metal plate that would stop the guillotine, meaning that now anyone can lose their finger in this game. That had mine from a Kamiga kill ready to tweak out.
Alright, so 3, 2, 1, and scammer gets scammed, buddy. That's what you get. You're not getting our guns back. No. Whoa.
Yumeko and Midori are actually laughing in her face the same way Mahito and Sukuna were laughing at Yuji. Tell me this isn't the exact same scene. Irimi realizes she's a fake demon as she breaks down crying. And would you look at that, if it isn't the consequences of your own actions. Chop rice, chop rice. But before we can get into the meat and potatoes, I've got something really exciting for us JoJo's fans. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Spirit officially launches worldwide on August 13th. And it's actually the first globally released mobile JoJo's RPG. Pre-registration is already live on both iOS and Android, so now's the perfect time to jump in. One thing that immediately caught my attention is the new music PV trilogy. The soundtrack was composed by Yugo Kanno, the composer behind JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Stardust Crusaders, and Steel Ball Run, yes, SBR, and the music absolutely captures that unmistakable JoJo's energy. If you know, you know. Each PV highlights something different. One showcases the cinematic story and the characters from part 1 through 6, another focuses on the explosive stand battles with faithfully recreated abilities, and the third leads into all those iconic JoJo's moments and fan favorite interactions and memes. The game itself lets you build around your dream team by mixing characters across generations, recreating classic anime moments, and unleashing all those signature stand powers and poses you'd expect from a JoJo's game. So if you're ready to experience the first global JoJo mobile RPG, pre-register today on iOS or Android. Check out the new music PVs and get ready for the worldwide launch on August 13th. Now we can get back into the meat and potatoes. Now, if you're slightly confused as to how we even ended up here, we gotta cut back a few hours to Satoru Gojo's cousin, I mean the student council president, who says that she's going to dissolve the student council and hold an election for a new student council president. I could go into the details, but to make a long story short, this school is run by like a bunch of Squid Game type elites. Like, they are extremely wealthy and they've got like some sort of like twisted vision for society. Basically, it's like that one stable Ronaldo and XQC clip. Anyway, since she's stepping down, all the branches of the other Momobami clan send in their children to try and take over the school. I know this sounds insane, but these guys are actually like a bunch of Uchihas, categorized by having their name end in Bami. But doesn't that technically mean Yumeko is also a part of this clan, since her name is Yumeko Jabami? This is not a coincidence. I'm not going insane. They really treating these elite gamblers like it's the will of D in One Piece. This Nishiki from Tokyo Ghoul lookalike introduces the new challengers who want to take over the school and become head of the Momobami clan. So it seems like we got our very own succession arc. Togashi took so long to finish Hunter x Hunter, they really made a lesbian coded version. One of the challengers further explains that whoever is the head of the Momobami clan basically runs the country and yo, this student council nonsense in anime has gone too far. Why do they always hold so much power? I have yet to witness a singular trusted adult or teacher. This anime might have worse parental guidance than Tokyo Revengers. If you know, you know. Anyways, the election will of course be based on gambling. Each student gets one voting chip, and you can only take a student's voting chip by beating them in a gamble. The person with the most votes at the end of the 30 days experience will be the new student council president. Among some of the suitors, we saw the Yumemo Jabami girl from earlier who challenged Yumeko and Midori to gamble, which brings us back to the present moment. And I gotta say, this is pitiful. It reminds me of this one time this absolute bum Nove was talking the spiciest to Kirari and Gon just to get left looking like these after barely encountering Poof. If you're gonna go out like a dog. They continue the game until there's only 3 strings left. Yumemo locks in and actually cuts one of them, leaving only 2 to go. It's Midori's turn, and this sick Betelgeuse affiliate is on straight BS and just cuts both of them like yo. Come on, bro. Yumemo pulled out her finger when it's revealed that the metal plate to prevent anyone from losing their finger was never actually removed, meaning that Yumeko hit her with some good old reverse psychology. Yumeko is truly a master strategist on par with Aizen, whilst Midori is just batshit insane. She had no idea about any of the behind the scenes schemes, by the way. Like she genuinely just wanted to lose a finger whilst gambling. Anyway, since Yumemo pulled out her finger and Midori cut 2 ropes at once, Yumeko is now the winner, gaining 2 chips. Even though Yumeko won, she still hates Midori because she ruined the gambling experience by guaranteeing the guillotine would fall.
You are a worthless, bitch ass nigga. Your life literally is as valuable as a summer ant.
I gotta respect it. She may be a degenerate freaked out gambler, but at least she's an ethical degenerate freaked out gambler. We move on to the next day, and Nishiki goes to meet Yumeko to tell her that Bami and Bami are there to challenge her for another gamble. They practically no-diffed Unohana, so it's clear that these guys should at least be solid comp. Runa will be the referee for this game, so let the squabble commence.
I want to take part in this election match too.
Yo. What does this guy even do? Ryota is genuinely more useless than Agamemnon in the Odyssey. At least he was a W oral farmer. I be forgetting Ryota is genuinely supposed to be like the actual main character of this show. He's literally a brown shirt, bronze card NPC that somehow managed to bag Yumeko. They are playing a student council original game where everyone gets dealt these cards from 0 to 4. Each person is supposed to play their card, but you can't go over the number 9. Similar to poker, you can draw more cards and bluff your way to a win. If you happen to run out of election chips, you can also bet student council chips, but instead of money, 1 chip is worth 24 hours of unpaid slave labor to the student council. This is the type of shit Jeff Bezos would come up with. I think now is a good time to tell you guys that I don't know a single thing about gambling, nor have I ever gambled in my life, aside from like FIFA Ultimate Team packs and Growtopia casinos. If you know, you know. So feel free to correct me in the comments whenever I say something wrong. They start the round and Yumeko drops a 3, Mio drops a 2, Ryota drops a 1, and Mirio drops a 3, bringing the total to 9, meaning that only zeros can be played. Ryota isn't trying to win the game, but he's only trying to help out Yumeko, whilst Yumeko has this chimera ant are gone freaks level death stare in her eyes. They go around again and both Mio and Ryota drop a 0 when Mirio drops out because she doesn't have a 0, making her the loser of the game. She really bet 30 chips on a bluff. Whilst all this was going on, Mary runs into the student council president who offers her a bet for 100 chips if she can guess which hand she holds the chip in. That's a pretty good deal. But before Mary accepts, she unveils the mask and realizes that it's not the real Kirari Momobami but actually her twin sister Ririka Momobami. Damn, who they feeling like? Amon and Tarlok from the Legend of Korra? She says she ain't interested in getting involved in her little game when she gets a call from Ryota saying that Yumeko is in trouble and she needs the help of someone with a lot of chips, which forces Mary to take up her offer. Hey, Mary is such a little tsundere. She might pretend not to care about Yumeko and Ryota, but it's clear they are good friends. Runa goes on to explain the situation, and these two basically poisoned Yumeko and also did the same to Unohana just so that they could win a high school gambling match. What's in the Shinobu they got going on here? Even the Dung Eater from Elden Ring wouldn't go to such length. You know what? Actually, he probably would do something like this. They tell Mary that if she plays in Yumeko's place and wins, they'll give her the antidote, and if she loses, she needs to give all the chips she won from Ririka and undergo the same poison as her. Ryota and Mary agree so that the squabble commence. Ryota has a terrible hand with no zeros, which means if it gets to 9, he's cooked. That's when we get a flashback of Yumeko telling Ryota to listen to whatever Mary tells him. So Mary tells bro to show everyone what card he has as he throws his cards on the table.
Because that is my gamble!
I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna clown bro at every possible opportunity. How you become a side character in your own show? Mary analyzes the playing field and decides to raise 100 chips as everyone goes in to match. That's when we get a flashback to those two sisters who were separated into different families at a young age and then created some type of silent way of communicating with each other through like extremely subtle gestures which they've been using throughout this game. They start off with a 3 when Mary tells Ryota to throw down a 1, but Mirio starts yapping in his ear saying she'll give him 2 antidotes to the poison if he doesn't listen to Mary, but Ryota holds it down and plays the 1 anyways. Mary gets in her bag and I can tell she's about to cook. She throws down a 2, forcing Mio to drop her only 0 since she doesn't have a 1. Ryota throws down his 1 as it's officially on 9. Mirio drops down one of her 2 zeros as Mary drops down another 0, making Mio the loser and forcing her to give up all the antidotes. I thought it was over, but Runa says it's a 3-round game, meaning they need to finish the game before they can claim their earnings. This is bad looks because Yumeko is uncritical. Her reboot card is about to expire. They start the final round as Ryota raises 3, Mirio raises 300, and Mary says F it and throws down 10,000 chips, meaning she'll be a slave to the student council for the rest of her life. They think she's trying to intimidate them, so they call her bluff and also go all in with 10 bans. But Mary is out here smiling like Joy Boy. The mind games are getting worser. Ryota drops a 2, Mirio drops a 3, Mary drops a 2 to make it 7, but Mio's only card is a 1, which would bring the total to 8, meaning that Ryota would play his 1 to make the total a 9. The only logical explanation for Mary being able to realize this is that she has a Keke Genkai. You can't fool me. Look at her eyes. She definitely has some type of dojutsu. Jokes aside, Mary is actually a Senku level genius because she counted the cards since Runa used a shuffling technique called the Gilbert shuffle or something like that, which made it so that she could recognize the pattern. And by finding out Ryota's card and combining that knowledge of her own, she would know the 8 cards that are not in their hands. So by process of elimination, she basically knew everyone's cards. What? I'm just as confused as you, bro. Like, Mio is about to get knocked from the poison when his sister straight up starts moving like Levi did to Erwin and tells her to give up and die, basically telling her to forfeit the game since she's the more gifted sister. She agrees, making her the official winner. They take the antidote and Nishiki, for whatever reason, is the person who administers the antidote. Like, I feel like this guy is gonna be some sort of like endgame villain, bro. Like, he just happens to be in every scene for practically no reason, just out there, you know? We end up getting an update on the election power rankings. Yumeko is at 10 with 13 votes. The Ichika version of Kirari is at 9 with 17 votes. The Magellan wannabes are at 8 with 21 votes. And is that Sadako? Anyway, she's at 7 with 40 votes. The nail fetish girl is at 6 with 50 votes. This regular dude is at 5 with 62 votes. Mary is at 4 with 101 votes. The J-pop star is at 3 with 109 votes. Default skin Yumeko is second with 133 votes. And of course, the previous student council president is in first place with 216 votes. Anyways, we cut over to Yumemi and I was low-key surprised to see she got as many votes as she did. But she didn't gamble for them. She just got all her chud fans to give them to her for free. She wants to get more fans so she can take their chips, so decides to hit up Yumeko to bring the band back together.
What I want is to bring the Dreaming Creamy Sisters group all back together!
Man, I forgot that they unironically chose this name for their girl band. Anyhow, Yumeko is about to agree when Yumemi's idol walks in saying she wants to gamble with Yumeko. I thought she was like a big actress like overseas in America or something, but turns out this is actually Sadako's true form. Holy 180. Don't judge a book by its cover. Imagine investing in that. Yumemi is extremely insecure towards her because she feels like she's so much better than her at everything. So when she sees her challenging Yumeko, she inserts herself into the squabble as they make it a freeway domain expansion for all the chips. They are gonna settle this one with another one of them idol performances, and I'm convinced Yumeko low-key loves performing. And I forgot this bum Ryota was originally like a Yumemi fan. He's low-key the reincarnate of Asmongold. Yo, wait, hold up. Let me calm down, bro. No one is as bad as him. After they sing their bit, it's Kaworu Naturi's turn, and this is supposed to be her weakness, but she's out there hitting high notes like Beyonce. Long story short, it's over. Imagine singing so good, your biggest op sheds a tear. It's a voting based system, so you already know Yumemi bought off everyone in the audience, but it was to no avail, because as they go to reveal the results, we see that Yumeko and Yumemi got blown out 8-92. Even the generation of miracles weren't putting this kind of belt on teams. Naturi basically full countered the bribe by offering more money, but the worst part is she got Nishiki to tell everyone that if they took the money, they just had to vote for whoever they thought had the better performance, meaning that Yumemi just fully got skill diffed. Naturi's next game is based on the one chip challenge, but this time it's with macarons. There are 3 of them, but one of them is extremely spicy. They need to guess which one it is by reading the other person's facial expressions while they eat them. Naturi has a calm face for all 3, but Yumemi made a sour face on the first one. Naturi says that the spicy macaron was B, as Runa reveals it was correct. Damn. Turns out Yumemi broke her own finger on the first go just to try and trick her. I gotta respect the dedication. It's their turn to guess, so Yumeko also goes with B, guessing correct. She counted how many times Natsuri chewed, and based off that, you know, she like deduced that that was the right one, I guess. Yumemi seems completely defeated though. She's accepted that Natsuri is just better than her in every aspect, and has decided to instead start learning from her so she can get closer to her goal, but Yumeko ain't going for that. And not gonna lie, she got a point.
The people who keep moving the goalposts when they fear loss are just pathetic.
In a cool but twisted way, she's kinda spitting. If you apply this to your own life, you'll realize that when you were growing up, you likely had a goal or dream you wanted to achieve. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a professional athlete. I want to be a millionaire. Everyone had some ridiculous, grandiose dream growing up, but as they got older and reality slapped them in the face a couple times, they decided to move the goalpost and change their dream. Astronauts turned into accountants. Professional athletes turned into personal trainers. Millionaires turned into warehouse workers. Why was it when you were faced with pushback and hardship in pursuit of greatness, you decided to quit pursuing said dream altogether instead of getting more excited and working even harder to reach said goal? Yumeko is right. Stop moving the goalpost and chase your dreams till the bitter end. That's what gives life meaning. Just because you ran into a wall doesn't give you the excuse to give up. You have to go beyond your perceived limits. It's been a minute since I did some hope calls, so I had to get you guys right. I can just tell Yumeko and Ego Jinpachi would be best friends IRL. Anyways, this is the final game chosen by Runa. Jean Soir. Bro, I butchered that. A game of chicken, where the person needs to try and get as close to 63 as possible. You can add on to or pass from the pile completely. If 2 people pass and the number is over 63, the last person loses. But if the number is below 63, the last person wins. I feel like you could easily cheese this game if it was like a 2v1. But Yumeko is so disappointed in Yumemi for completely giving up on her dream that she's decided to play solo. This is like when Nagi decided to cut off Ryo in the second selection. Natsuri is smiling ear to ear as she realizes they have actually started fighting, since she's certain that Yumemi's anxiety is the real deal. She low-key got some type of Sharingan that lets her analyze whether her opponent is lying or telling the truth. The game continues and it truly seems like it might be over, as Natsuri believes that they have already passed the 63 threshold. Yumemi is having a whole mental breakdown when her tier 3 Twitch subs start yelling at her to never give up. And as much as I want to make fun of her, this is low-key kinda wholesome. She truly seems to have fallen in love with being an idol, and Natsuri can even appreciate it, going as far as to give her some words of encouragement. She decides to pass and not play the card, as Yumeko also passes, as they reveal the number to be 67, meaning that they have won the game. And wow man, what are the odds? This aired in 2019, like how did that cursed number get picked? Anyway, some more time passes and we are reunited with none other than Arima from Tokyo Ghoul. He got fleeced for like 10 billion Japanese yen by Yumeko and Itsuki at the end of season 1, which caused bro to lose the will to live. And you know what? That's fair enough. I too would be depressed if I lost the equivalent of $61 million to some bisexual high school girls in poker. Itsuki seems to have some kind of crush on bro and is trying to nurse him back to health, but it's clear that bro got no interest in living. Just commit seppuku, bro. Your kids will be trying to pay this off. Forget generational wealth, this is generational debt. That's when we cut over to Yumeko, meeting up with default skin Yumeko, who's second in the power rankings. Since Kirari is pulling away, she proposes that they set up a big gambling game between the higher ranked members to try and have one of them catch up to her. They summon Ken Pseudo and a big version of Kirari, as well as Arima and Itsuki, to have one big gambling sesh. The game they'll be playing is called Getting to the Greater Good. The 5 players will each be taken into a room one by one, where they are given 5 coins. There will then be 2 places to put the coins, the tax box or your personal box. If you put them in your personal box, you keep the money, but if you put them in a tax box, the coins get doubled and redistributed out to everyone. It's a little bit confusing, so stay with me. To stop people just putting all their coins in the personal box, there is a goal of getting to 40 coins, and since there's only 5 rounds, it means that if everyone just puts their coins in the personal box, they won't have enough to survive. Also, throughout the game, they have discussion phases before the round starts, and also have one opportunity to vote out one person if 3 or more people agree. The earnings are provided by Terrano, and those who are eliminated will lose their coins, and Terrano will take them all. Let the squabble commence. Whilst Itsuki has gone into the room first, Yumeko is emoting in Arima's face about his loss to her when he asks her whether she feels any remorse for the people she destroys in gambling. She says she feels guilty for not feeling guilty at all, as we do see a small glimpse towards what I presume is like his sister in the hospital bed, or like one of her relatives. That's when Nishiki snaps and gets angry at her for not feeling an ounce of remorse, which is out of character for bro, since like he's been nonchalant maxing for the entire season, moving like Ayano Koji. It's clear bro has some like sort of past trauma in that department. The first round ends and the tax box only had 20 coins inside, which means one person pocketed their 5 cents. What greedy ass Mr. Krabs affiliate did that? They start tweaking as the meeting is sounding like an Among Us lobby in 2020. They want to vote out the traitor, but I have no idea who it is or who to trust. And if they all decide to stop putting money in the tax box, then Terrano will just be the winner by taking all their earnings. Someone should low-key turn this into a Steam game. I bet this would blow up for like a month. The second round starts and Yumeko tells the group she has a plan to snuff out the traitors by having everyone pick up a piece of paper with the number of coins they should donate written on it. That way they could snuff out the traitor by way of elimination, but as the round ends, only 13 coins got deposited, meaning there are 2 traitors who are working together, which has only caused tension to rise. Itsuki asks her situationship Arima who he thinks the traitor is, when he says he doesn't care about the game but does think that Yumeko is the actual traitor. He suggests that Yumeko made some sort of under the table deal with Terrano to secure votes if the entire group lost, and let me stop you right there. Yumeko should sue for defamation of character. You know damn well she doesn't play like that. Itsuki thinks the same and starts crying real tears after finding out her goats become washed. They go in for the third round as only 3 people put their coins in the tax box, meaning the traitors have stopped contributing altogether. Yumeko starts getting turned on by the thought of losing and coerces Kaede to join her on a suicide mission, as they both announce they are no longer going to add any coins to the tax box. That's when Ebara realizes what they are doing and says that he's not going to add any more coins to the tax box either. That basically means if the traitors don't put any coins in the tax box, then no one will win, so no coins will go into it. It's basically like a reverse blackmail. It seems to have worked, as in round 4 every single person has put their money into the box. It's now round 5 and Arima shows us why he's the goat of Tokyo Ghoul, as he reveals he knows who the traitors were. He says it's Miroslava and Itsuki, with Itsuki being the mastermind. She left her coins and notes in the room, and since Miro was the person who went after her, she would be able to read it without anyone knowing. And look at the eyes. Kaede, I owe you an apology. I wasn't really familiar with your game. You had me fooled. I thought you were a bum. This is low-key a sensational play. Itsuki basically did all that to see whether her situationship Kaede still had one more in him. W love story. Compared to some of the toxic rivalries of season 1, this is genuinely wholesome. Both Miroslava and Ibarra are like low-key W people. Miroslava is in last with 0 points, Kaede is in 4th with 40 points, Yumeko and Ibarra are in joint 2nd with 41 points, and Itsuki is in 1st with 45 points, granting her Terrano's 100 points. Well played. I thought she just jumped up to 2nd in the power rankings, but that's when Nishiki pops up and says that it was actually a side bet placed between Itsuki and Terrano for 150 points on whether Kaede would pass his test. Itsuki bet no, whilst Terrano bet yes, meaning that even though they won 100 points, she now owes Terrano 150. Damn. And you're probably wondering, why did she do all this? All for some of that Arima de. She just wanted to see her man get his spark back. They better end up together after all that. Fast forward a few days and we get the new official top 10 rankings. This is really how I felt seeing the Blue Lock rankings during the Neo Egoist League. And bro, I once again completely forgot about this guy's existence. Like, he somehow scammed his way into the top 10. Yumeko uses the live broadcast of the rankings to challenge Kirari to a gambling game, but her little situationship Sayaka wasn't going for that. She's actually jealous of Yumeko, and look at Kirari. She's overly enjoying herself. Sayaka decides to gamble against Yumeko because she thinks it will finally make the student council president value her, and even says she'll put her life on the line. Surprisingly, Yumeko declines because she says the stakes are not high enough. Alright bruh, life on the line is no longer enough in Kakegurui. She says she'll gamble with her if she puts her relationship with Kirari on the line, meaning she'll never get to see or speak to her ever again, whilst Yumeko will never be allowed to gamble again. They decide to play a game called Tower of Doors, as we have an entire stage change. They don't start at gambling in Heaven's Arena. The rules are simple. They have to climb down the tower, collect the flower, and then climb back up the tower. The first one to do so wins. The doors will be open based on questions that need to be answered correctly. Each person gets 5 minutes per question. Let the gamble commence. Yumeko answers first, and for half a second I thought she instantly cleared the game, but even though she got the right answer, the door was a fake. Sayaka is extremely intelligent but lacks confidence and is super codependent on the student council president. After some thinking, she picks the right door, letting her descend 1 level, but after descending she realizes that there were quicker paths she could have taken from the top floor, meaning if Yumeko realized that, she'd be cooked. Yumeko realized this too, but instead of taking the second door and going down the hatch, she decides to start trolling and open random doors because she's curious about what may lie behind it. A true gambler at heart. Sayaka continues climbing down the tower whilst having fantasies about all the time she spent together with the student council president. This is really how Naruto be thinking about Sasuke. Sayaka is the first to get to the flower, but Yumeko is right behind her, which fills her with confidence, as it likely means that as long as she doesn't make another mistake, she should be able to win. But as she's climbing up the tower with a grin on her face like Subaru from Re:Zero, she thinks she's actually won, but in reality, Yumeko somehow managed to beat her to the top. Yumeko reveals that the doors weren't rotating, but the whole tower was actually rotating, meaning that if she timed it correctly, she could go through the central tower and just take the stairs up and down the tower without any issue. She was the true Subaru Maxer all along. Well then, it seems like since Yumeko has won, they are going to force Sayaka to jump off the tower and off herself, since the only way to truly sever all connections with the president is through death. What in the homeland are they got going on? They let her pick any door and the president genuinely doesn't care. Talking about some, I finally got my first jumper. Sayaka opens the door and starts plummeting to her death the same way Lobak went out in a Kamiga kill. I thought we actually witnessed our first body, but without a second's hesitation, the president jumps after her as they land and survive? Man. MICKEYMOUSE. Cause that was some real Mickey Mouse shit. I didn't know I was watching Disney Channel. Turns out she planted a crash landing mattress underneath the 5th floor, meaning that had Sayaka picked any other door besides this one, she would have died. Just go ahead and crack already, man. You two clearly love each other. The president tries to act all nonchalant, but she's clearly in love with her little codependent situationship. Fast forward to the next day as Yumeko and Ryota receive some sort of invitation to attend this like big gambling event. Mary, the vice president, Midori, and Unohana also received invitations, and this Yumeko hating Midori gimmick is genuinely hilarious. Like, she actually despises her with every fiber of her being. She might be the only person like out the entire show she just outright hates. It's like Timmy's dad and Dinkelberg. Nishiki is the one hosting the event, and it's an auction for 100 votes. We don't know who sponsored the event though. Each round Nishiki will put up 100 votes, and the participants can bid on those votes. Whoever bids the highest wins, but if you bid and lose, then everything you've bid goes to the sponsor. All bidding is anonymous. They start with the first batch of 100 votes, as it seems like Mary goes in with 10, but then Yumeko and Midori go in 2, so Mary closes out with 80 votes, meaning she basically gained 20 votes. But the sponsor made 130 votes, since Midori and Yumeko's bids also go to her. Ryota actually suggests something smart and says that they could just collude together and take turns betting on a lot, so they each get like, you know, the best prize. But Nishiki says that it would be a violation of the rules. I don't know like what rules that I'd be violating, because the rules have already been violated many times. The only reason Midori is playing is to try and get back in Yumeko's good side, but these prison school level faces Yumeko is making make it clear as day she ain't going for that. This is real hatred. They go into the second round, and this time Unohana cleans house with 80 votes. They start the third round, and I can already sense Yumeko is plotting another Aizen level scheme. Mary tells everyone she's planning on bidding 99 votes to win the lot, so no one else competes, but she only puts in 10 when someone ends up with 20. The bid goes out for 20, and for a second I thought it worked, but turns out she stopped bidding at 10 and comes to the conclusion that Nishiki was also betting to drive up the price for the other competitors. I can tell bro be using the Facebook marketplace method. He probably gets his homies to lowball and then offers a slightly above average price so he can get it for a steal. I know what kind of man you are. He says he'll sit at the next round, but just like the rounds before, the price begins to inflate when Yumeko comes to the conclusion that there must be other players secretly playing the game. As it cuts over to the other Bami clan members working together during the auction, Yumeko had the supervisors bring her 3 billion yen match winnings from Kaede and offers Nishiki to bet against him. She says that he's the one who's been sponsoring this event and that he's hiding some sort of like secret which she wants to get to the bottom of through gambling. I already had a hunch that he was the secret mastermind, but I did not expect bro to be an enemy stand user. I'm so confused. What is even happening? We end up getting like bro's backstory, and he used to be a part of the Momobami clan, but his family got stripped and brandished as slaves. What in the Hyuga clan nonsense they got going on over here? Bro's literally Neji. Okay, to make a long story short, she, because apparently bro was not a bro after all, was basically treated like a branch Hyuga clan member, but someone who I would presume is like Yumeko's mother or sister or something like that showed him real kindness this for the first time in his life, which made him enjoy living again. But then one day she lost so bad in gambling it broke her completely, so now she's decided to get revenge by taking down the entire Momobami clan herself. Rei Matsubami really hit us with the reverse Haku technique. They continue the election so that the squabble commence. I guess since no one trusts each other and don't want to risk Rei ending the auction, they are perfectly playing into his trap as he's slowly collecting all the votes. Rei Matsubami is single-handedly toying with every single top tier gambler in the school, and it seems like there's nothing anyone can do about it, aside from Yumeko Jabami of course. She starts by bidding 101 votes in back-to-back rounds, meaning she's overpaid. That makes the other contestants not want to place a bid since they just be losing money to Yumeko. She continues this until she eventually puts in a bid for 1, allowing her to claim it without anyone contesting. You can see where this is about to go. She continues to do the same, almost making back all her profits when the others also catch on as everyone continues to bid low numbers, not even going over 20 votes. Rei starts accusing them of colluding, but since they didn't speak or communicate directly, there's nothing that can be done about it. And my Uchiha clan comparison I made about the Momobami clan at the start of the video is only getting more and more valid, because tell me, they don't look like a bunch of Uchihas right now. Rei's being drained completely dry as he no longer possesses any votes or money. Yumeko starts whispering in her ear like the shaitan she is, saying she can always bet her life, as we get a flashback to Rei seeing a young Yumeko next to the woman he always idolized, which means that my theory about that woman likely being related to Yumeko was probably correct. She begins overly tweaking and actually manages to rage bait Rei into taking the deal. These are the types of people you need to stay away from in life. They will drag you down to their level and beat the brakes off you with their idiocy. They proceed to wager everything they got on a singular coin toss. Yeah, Yumeko won. I don't know what you guys thought was gonna happen. Yumeko's luck stat is even higher than Kazuma's from Konosuba. Anyways, this ending is extremely rushed. Like, I don't know why, but I really don't like it that much. It feels so anticlimactic. Like, Yumeko wins the coin toss, Rei loses her money, but in return becomes her true self and frees herself from the Hyuga clan seal or something like that. Like, the election isn't even completed yet, and the Momobami clan members are still attending the school. Like bruh, they really just abandoned this anime in the middle of everything. No cliffhanger, no post-credit scene, no nothing. What a slap in the face. Anyways, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, then please subscribe, man. I'm trying to get a haircut, bro. I told myself I can't get a haircut until I hit 250k subs. I need this. YouTube thinks you'll like this video on Screen Next, so check it out. I also have a second channel where I post Inazuma 11 content and, you know, other stuff, so check it out too. That's it from me. Peace.